What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am your host, Nick, aka Lord Escanor, and as you can tell by the title of this video, this will be my first uh, topic discussion that I'll be doing. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why I think Gon Freecs from Hunter x Hunter is a bad main character. So, let's go ahead and jump right in. By no means do I think Hunter x Hunter is a bad anime. I just simply don't like the character of Gon Freecs. I feel like as a main character, he doesn't really fulfill the roles that a main character should play in telling a story. While yes, Gon is the medium in which we see the world and experience the plot of the Hunter x Hunter story, he is not affecting the plot of Hunter x Hunter in the same way that a main character should. A main character is supposed to advance the plot forward by making decisions that end up changing the overall world that they're set in. However, it feels like in the Hunter x Hunter story and in the universe that they're in, the world happens to Gon, and Gon simply either reacts or does his own thing as the plot is happening simultaneously. And to prove that, I'd like to go through the different arcs and give examples of each case. So the first arc of the story is the Hunter exam arc, where we meet Gon, Killua, Kurapika, Leorio, the main group. We meet Hisoka and everybody else, and that arc is obviously extremely long and kind of dragged out, as most people think it is, and for good reason, because it does spend a lot of time getting into the lore of the world. And Togashi, the author of Hunter x Hunter, is a very detail-oriented kind of writer, but nothing really happens in terms of plot, so to say, in the Hunter exam. During the Hunter exam, they kind of just go through the motions, explain what it's like to be a hunter. Gon gets his license at the end. They do go through the trials and have a little bit of a betrayals through like some of the other teammates and stuff like that. But overall, it's really nothing intensely plot related happens in this arc. Following this, after the Hunter exam, the following arc is the arc to try and retrieve Killua. Following the Hunter exam, he fails due to his brother's mind control and runs away to home. After that, Gon goes and chases after Killua to try and retrieve him. And I can't help but feel like Gon was not really necessary for the story there. He did chase after Killua and was trying to retrieve him. But in the end, the arc was resolved by Killua's father talking to Killua and letting him know that he is fine with him leaving the family to go and be with his friends, because he does love his son and he does want him to be happy. Obviously, he does have some kind of ulterior motives underneath that we don't really know about. But through Gon's determination of constantly persevering and fighting against the family butlers, it did move the family, I would say, a little bit. But at the end of the day, I do feel like Killua's father probably would have let Killua go anyways, and would have told him to go find Gon anyways and go be with his friends anyways, whether Gon was there or not. So again, Gon didn't really advance the plot forward. He didn't really affect the overall story. He was just there. And I kind of just don't really feel like that's what a main character should be doing. Skip ahead a little bit. We're going to go to one of the more popular arcs, the Greed Island arc. The Greed Island arc is a completely separate arc from the rest of the world that the Hunter x Hunter universe is in. The Greed Island arc is literally an isolated arc. Nothing of consequence happens in the Greed Island arc. You know, Gon even gets injured to the point where he loses a hand, but he's healed and he's fine afterwards. And they just find out more information about how to find Kite, Gon's father's friend. And the arc prior to this, they were going against the Phantom Troop, and Kurapika had to come and save them. But really, again, Gon didn't really do much there either. He wasn't really much of help. Neither was Killua. They were outmatched, which is fine. It's not a bad plot point to have. But again, the main character was not really advancing the plot forward. Kurapika was going to go and try and hunt down the spiders regardless of what Gon and Killua was doing. The spiders were going to be in that city regardless of what Gon and Killua were doing. They weren't there to hunt down Gon. They weren't there to hunt down Killua. They were just there doing their own mission anyways. Again, the plot happens. Gon happened to be there. And like I said, the Greed Island arc is not really an arc that has of any consequence to the overall plot. It just kind of is there, and nothing else comes of it. Then we get into the main arc of the story that most people recognize, the Chimera Ant arc. The arc starts off with Gon and Killua meeting Kite and exploring with him a little bit. And I do feel like they could have spent a lot more time with Kite. That would have probably made their relationship a little bit more understanding to the reader and to the audience. So when Kite eventually does die, it's a little bit more intense, because when he does die, I felt like bad for Kite. I felt bad for Gon and him, but it wasn't really that much of a relationship. They really had only been together for a few episodes before he died, so I really didn't feel much. As opposed to when, like, say, Jiraiya died in Naruto, we knew Jiraiya for years at that point. By that time, we had been with Jiraiya for a very long time. So when he did die, it felt a lot more impactful for when that character passed. I just don't feel like the Kite's death was a very impactful moment in the story, because we hadn't seen him very much. And again, as I keep repeating, the plot kind of just happened around Gon. He went to go meet Kite, and they decided to go investigate the ant army. And then Kite ended up encountering Pito, and Pito was obviously way too strong, so Kite had to sacrifice himself to get Gon and Killua out of there. Now, if we were to change the events of the story a tiny bit, and let's just say Kite got away and wasn't captured by Pito, the rest of the Chimera arc would not have happened the way it did. Gon and Killua were only there at the Chimera Ant arc in order to find Pito so that Gon could find Kite and rescue him, because he did believe that he was still alive. If Kite was still alive, if Kite got out of there alive and with Gon and Killua, and they just retreated, I likely believe that Kite would have just told Gon and Killua that they're not strong enough to help them fight in the Chimera Ant War, and they should stay behind and train and maybe meet up with them later. But either way, the events of the Chimera Ant arc would not have happened the same way. Gon would not have been there in the final fight. The main character would not have been in the main final arc, simply because he's just not that kind of character. That's my main problem with Gon. As an overarching theme of the story is that the plot continues to happen with or without Gon's influence. The Chimera Ants were going to be doing their plan to take over the world, or whatever they were trying to do, whatever Meruem's plans were. They were going to do that regardless. They were doing that regardless. Whether Gon was there or not, they were going to do that regardless. Gon didn't even fight the Ant King. He had no interest in fighting the Ant King. He didn't want to stop the Chimera Ants. He wasn't trying to save the world. Gon was trying to fight Pito so that he could retrieve Kite. That's his only goal. And yes, it was a pretty awesome fight, Gon versus Pito. I love that fight. And I do love Netero versus Meruem. But it kind of takes away from the fact that the main character is supposed to be Gon Freecs. And yet I feel like the main character just wasn't present in any of these arcs. He wasn't very useful or any of these arcs. He wasn't needed in any of these arcs. He didn't make any decisions that pushed the arcs forward in a certain direction like a main character should. To give an example of this, we can take a look at animes, other long-running shonen animes like Naruto or One Piece. Naruto made the decision to go after Sasuke after he was declared a rogue ninja. If Naruto hadn't showed up at the moment he did, Sakura would have died and Kakashi would have had to kill Sasuke himself. I'm not saying he could have, but that's what would have happened if Naruto didn't decide to show up. Naruto was told to stay hidden during the fourth Great Ninja War, but Naruto decided, no, I'm going to go out there and defend my people and defend my village and fight alongside my comrades, thus pushing the plot in a different direction. If Naruto had not showed up at the battlefield, if Naruto had decided to follow orders and stay hidden, then the world would have ended. Madara and Obito would have won. Without Naruto's help, Madara and Obito 100% would have defeated everybody there. And the plot would not have done what it did. Naruto is making a decision that is affecting the overall plot of the story. Luffy from One Piece, that's the entire plot of One Piece, is Luffy making decisions because he doesn't give a crap about the consequences. He decides what he wants to do. Luffy deciding to declare war on the world government at Enies Lobby, Luffy deciding to take down Crocodile Alabasta, all of those things had consequences that Luffy was willing to deal with because that's what he wanted to do. But they changed the world. They changed the plot of the story. After Crocodile was defeated, the warlords had an imbalance in power because of that. And then the world government had to try to cover that up because of Crocodile being evil. Same thing when Luffy defeated Doflamingo. The world government had to try to cover that up, but they weren't able to. Doflamingo was outed. The world government apologized, had to apologize to the people, which was unheard of. Those things changed the entire world of One Piece. Yet when you look at Gon Freecs, he does not make any decisions or any actions that change the plot of Hunter x Hunter. Now, like I said before, I do enjoy the story of Hunter x Hunter. I do think it's a good anime. I just don't think that Gon Freecs was a well-written main character. I'm not trying to knock Togashi's writing in any way. He's an extremely well-versed writer, and I do love his writing style. But I just feel like the main character should be making decisions or doing things as integral to the plot. And in all honesty, Kurapika or even Killua could have been a better main character than Gon. They are much more interesting characters with better motives than Gon. They had more reason to be in the plot than Gon did. Kurapika was the last surviving member of his clan, kind of like a Sasuke figure, who was chasing after the spiders. That could have been in its own anime by itself. And that is a character making decisions and doing things that are affecting the world. The Spider Troop is the biggest assassin organization in the world, some of the strongest people in the entire world of Hunter x Hunter. If those people just suddenly die, that's a big effect on the world. Kurapika is actively changing the world of Hunter x Hunter. Killua is a family of assassins, part of a family of assassins, the most well-known family of assassins. If he was the main character and it was following him around, following out assassination orders, Killua's assassinations, the assassination that family does, directly changes the world of Hunter x Hunter. If he had to go assassinate a very important person, that directly changes the world of Hunter x Hunter. It affects it in some way. But that's not what Gon is doing. Gon is just trying to find his dad. It doesn't really do anything to the plot. So that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know how you guys felt about this video, what I could do to improve. Obviously, I'm new to this, and I'm trying to get better at editing and better at recording. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for listening. Peace.